this weather update, we're forecasting an active day of severe weather throughout the Northeast. Also, the next couple of days as this long stretch of severe weather continues to go on. And also looking at the heat down south from Texas to Florida that has been relentless. It is very hot down here. We'll have all of that coming right up. All right, welcome back into another More Weather Forecast video. My name is Beckett Moore, and we are back here in the weather room. Did a forecast video on Thursday, I think, for severe weather, and we did have severe weather last night in St. Louis, but now we're talking about another round of severe weather, big time severe weather here in the Northeast. So we already do have a tornado watch from Syracuse over towards Cleveland in this area right now. Tornado warning, what it looks like on this storm in Ohio right now. Severe thunderstorm warnings on that storm as well. Severe thunderstorm warning on the storm near Cleveland, and a severe thunderstorm warning on the storm to the east of Buffalo, New York. So it's definitely going to be an active weather day in this area. Saw a tornado in Michigan yesterday, so it's just been so active, and we have another day of active severe weather up here into the Northeast, and I'll get into that here in a sec. But also what we're looking at is severe weather down here into Cookeville, Tennessee, down towards Chattanooga, Huntsville, Alabama, and Birmingham, Alabama here as we looked at the Appalachian region of Alabama, northwestern Georgia, and here into parts of eastern Tennessee as well. You can see we have those severe thunderstorm warnings on this complex of storms coming through Nashville right now and going to be affecting places like Chattanooga, Huntsville, Birmingham, up towards Cookeville, Tennessee. We need to be prepared for that. And today in the Northeast, even down here, as these storms come through, pop off here, you definitely need to be prepared. So let's get straight into the forecast, looking at what we've got going on today. Today we do have an enhanced risk for severe weather from Cleveland, Ohio, over towards Pittsburgh, and then to parts of New York, a large chunk of Pennsylvania. Again, we have that slight risk down here where we have that severe thunderstorm watch, including Atlanta and Nashville. And then over here into Texas, in the panhandle of Texas, in the panhandle of Oklahoma here, and into southern Kansas and southeastern Colorado, we do have a slight risk of severe weather. So very active severe weather day today. We also do have a 5% chance of tornadoes up here into the Northeast. So tornadoes are definitely going to be a threat to watch out for today, because we already have had a tornado warning in Ohio right now. And then we do, if we're looking at the hail outlook right here, we do have a 15% hatch risk for hail. So definitely hail is going to be a big issue to watch out for today. That's also something we're going to be needing to watch. And then the biggest threat besides hail is going to be the winds. The winds are probably going to be the biggest threat today, as we do have a 30% chance of winds, 30% wind probability up here in that enhanced risk region. So hail, wind, definitely going to be the main issues you're going to want to watch out for. Not everyone today is going to see a tornado in this area. That's why you really need to be prepared for hail and wind. You know, get everything outdoors in. That's not. Make sure you put your umbrellas down. I made that mistake last night of not putting them down. But we will see that threat for tornadoes, so that's going to be something to watch out for. But wind and hail are going to be the two biggest threats that we will be having to watch out for. Damaging winds, though, are probably going to be the biggest threat, as we have those clusters of storms bringing those straight-line damaging winds through places like Cleveland, through places like Pittsburgh, all the way up towards Buffalo into Albany, New York. So it's going to be a very active day of severe weather here. So let's get straight into looking at the models here. This is the HRRR model. This is what the radar could look like as we go into the future. Again, models been pretty bad recently. Again, models aren't gospel, but we are going to also look at what the NAM 3 kilometer has out for right now to see what it says about today's severe weather probabilities. So going into around 2 p.m. here, you can see around 2 p.m. we do have some storms firing off all the way already here in Ohio into New York here and down through Pennsylvania. As we go into 3 p.m. here, 4 p.m., you're going to see we're just going to have this explosion of storms here into Pennsylvania, into New York, and some of these storms just at first could be a supercellular mode here over here into Ohio and into New York. So that's going to be something to watch. But the main threats to watch out for are damaging winds, as we're likely going to see a cluster of storms go through Erie, Pennsylvania, down towards Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and then another cluster going through Albany, New York, and then the Adirondack Mountains of New York in this region. So we've got one cluster of storm right here, one cluster of storms right here. In the middle, we could have a cluster of storms forming, or we could have some independent cells. That's why we do have that tornado threat. So maybe in this risk area, this area here into parts of New York and northern Pennsylvania, we are going to have to watch out for tornadoes, as there may be some spin on these storms. And then over here into Ohio, we're definitely going to be having to watch out for storms, as we are right now, as there's a severe thunderstorm warning ongoing in that region. So all across this region, we're really going to be having to watch out for storms as we go into the next couple of hours here into 5 p.m. So afternoon, which we're already in the afternoon now, it's 12:05 currently as I'm recording this video. So afternoon into tonight, we're really going to be having to watch out for storm activity today in that area today, during tonight into the afternoon, again, in this region. Okay, so now let's look at the NAM 3 kilometer, see what it has to say about what we're going to be dealing with today. And what the NAM 3 kilometer is saying right now is we're probably going to have this complex of storms coming through Pittsburgh, Erie, Pennsylvania, and then also likely going to have a complex of storms coming through here. So there's pretty good agreements, but of course there are some disagreements here, so we're just going to have to watch that. Nevertheless, if you're in Pittsburgh, if you're up towards Albany, New York, if you're in this part of New York right here, northern Pennsylvania right here, definitely need to be prepared for that severe weather. And if we go back to the HRRR model and keep running this out, you can see as we go into the late nighttime hours, we're going to see storms go into Vermont, go into Massachusetts, getting nearer to New York, but mainly because we won't see that daytime heating, we probably will see a weakening of these storms, but still lightning is probably going to be a problem over towards Boston and down towards New York City, but nothing like what we're going to see earlier in the afternoon and nighttime in New York down towards Pennsylvania. Probably won't even be anything like that, but still over here in the cities, you need to watch that radar as we go into the nighttime hours. So again, this is what the NAM has for right now. We definitely need to be prepared for storms if we're in Cleveland, through Pittsburgh, again up towards Albany. Now, looking at the heat for today, these are the max temperatures according to the National Weather Service. You can see just, wow, look at that, 110 degrees, 107 degrees here in Dallas, down here towards Houston, 102 degrees, 106 degrees over here near San Antonio. So we've got just scorcher of a day out there, scorcher of a day in the desert Southwest, but we're used to this. Again, like I said, it's summer, we're going to get heat, but this is really, really hot throughout Florida, throughout the deep south, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, Florida, again, Texas. And if we look at the NWS hazards here, you can see we have red flag warnings, excessive heat watches, and heat advisories throughout the south here. So from Memphis, Tennessee, down towards Tampa, Florida, Miami, all the way over towards Houston, up here near San Antonio, Texas, and Dallas, Texas. Just incredible heat in this area. It's really not what we want right now, but it is what we have. So we have a lot of heat. We have this heat dome that's shifting from the southwest, again, over to the southeast, and it's just creating these very hot conditions that I know in the south people are going to be like, what are you talking about, Becky? It's always hot down here. But today, and just how it's been this summer, it's just been so hot in Texas, throughout over towards Florida, especially now. Florida is really hot with all of these excessive heat warnings, excessive heat watches, and all of that. Now let's look at the today. This is again today. I already showed you guys that we have that enhanced risk into Pennsylvania and New York, but then tomorrow we do have another slight risk for severe weather. This includes Missouri all the way towards the panhandles of Texas and Oklahoma, also including places like Paducah, Kentucky, Kansas City, Missouri. And then day 3 here from the Storm Prediction Center, we do have another slight risk of severe weather from Pennsylvania, southern Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh included in that, here in the Appalachian region, down towards northern Tennessee. So there's just going to be, again, more days of severe weather here, and then it doesn't end there. We're likely going to see even more severe weather after that. So very active, long stretch. Again, like I said in the last video, it feels like this summer the storm season has just never ended. We've had breaks, but it's just kept on going. We keep seeing this repeating of severe weather. We're seeing this enhanced risk today, and then more slight risk tomorrow and the next day. So I'll stay tuned for more on that. So that about wraps up this more weather forecast video. I'm sorry if it was a little jumbled, if I was a little rusty. Again, I'm getting back into it here. Make sure you subscribe and go follow me on Twitter. And again, I will be on the Stormfront Freaks podcast, 8 p.m. Central Time, August 17th. Make sure to stay tuned for that. Go to YouTube, search up Stormfront Freaks, and the raw live stream for that episode will be out. And then the podcast, I'm pretty sure, comes out the next week following that on all your favorite streaming areas for your podcast. So again, stay tuned for that, and I will see you soon with more weather.